Rolling on to the screen with the bad fast machines, individuals with the stones that has everyone glued to their phones. They are much more than just drivers out here trying to be lone survivors, while many more come and fall when they come up against the outlaws. Cocked, locked, and ready to rock. These fellas ain't ones to try and block. They're here to settle some scores and go after so much more. No time to make mistakes, 'cause there is too much at stake. Ain't no one can make them follow the law, because these are the outlaws. As the times fly on by, all drivers are looking past the sky. Since time is on their side, all they care about is getting in that top 5. V8 motors still at full song. These folks are trolling along. As things start to heat up, it's time to aim the guns toward the cup. And ready to rock. These fellas ain't ones to try and block. They're here to settle some scores and go after so much more. No time to make mistakes, 'cause there is too much at stake. Ain't no one can make them follow the law, because these are the outlaws. Rolling on to the screen with the bad fast machines, individuals with the stones that has everyone glued to their phones. They are much more than just drivers out here trying to be lone survivors, while many more come and fall when they come up against the outlaws. Cocked, locked, and ready to rock. These fellas ain't ones to try and block. They're here to settle some scores and go after so much more. No time to make mistakes, 'cause there is too much at stake. Ain't no one can make them follow the law, because these are the outlaws. As the times fly on by, all drivers are looking past the sky. Since time is on their side, all they care about is getting in that top 5. V8 motors still at full song. These folks are trolling along. As things start to heat up, it's time to aim the guns toward the cup. And ready to rock. These fellas ain't ones to try and block. They're here to settle some scores and go after so much more. No time to make mistakes. rolling on to the screen with the bad fast machines. Individuals with the stones, that is everyone glued to their phones. They are much more than just drivers out here trying to be lone survivors, while many more come and fall when they come up against the outlaws. Cocked, locked, and ready to rock. These fellas ain't ones to try and block. They're here to settle some scores and go after so much more. No time to make mistakes.
Well, a night like tonight certainly seems quite bright, but under the lights you will see the sights of the stars in the cars as we are about to let outlaws run around in a place that they should be well familiar with in the desert. But this track will certainly throw them for a few curveballs. Hi everyone, I am the Dead Man Christian Shriver on the mic with you today. And race fans, we've got a hot one here from the Outlaws Sim Series as we are down at Avondale, Arizona for Phoenix Raceway and today's showcase of their triumph and battle to get to the top spot. Let's take a look at our starting lineup. On the pole, this one, it is Andrew St. Cyr in the number 12, the outside. In the 18, Joshua Ballier. And row number 2, it's the 21 of Aiden Garradano. Outside, the 29 is Jarrett Jones. Row number 3, in the number 67, it's Anthony Hamilton. The outside, the number 2 is Josh Fox. Row number 4, in the 09, Keith Elton. The outside, the 88, the Flying Dutchman himself, Jeremiah Stutzman. Row number 5 in the 23 is Morgan Sterling. The outside, the number 9, that's going to be driven by Ben Henry. Row number 6 in the 5, Matthew Setzer. The outside, and the 65 is Kyle Lingerfeld. Row number 7 and the number 13 is Kevin Thompson. The outside, and the number 3, Forrest Hamilton Jr. Row number 8 is going to be driven here today by the number 56 of Adam Gardner. The outside, in the number 96, the rock star Matt Rogers. And finally, in row 9, the 51 is Joshua McClune. On the outside, the 45, Merlin A. Duran. Race fans, they've locked and loaded themselves up for this one. The battle now is to rage on here. Ballier and Corey are going to go at it here as the green flag flies off. Open dogleg is now let up for the drivers to fight. Ballier already up on the outside wall. High risk maneuver, not playing too well. Up on the inside now, Jared Jones making his way through onto the corner. Back down to the back straightaway here. Everyone trying to get themselves squared up. Set the marks, set the bottom, set the top. Andrew St. Cyr with the lead. But it is Garradano and Hamilton right now making their way up to the front. Not Hamilton Jr. This is Anthony Hamilton. And Anthony Hamilton right now honestly doing a pretty good job putting the Celsius 67 into good play, field, and good use. Swinging his way right to the inside here. Makes a huge charge around now, trying to patrol up to the front. Get a little bit of a look here at the Flying Dutchman and the Jeremiah Stutzman right now as he's working his way into an outside lane, trying to find some momentum up there, while everyone else on the bottom of the top continues to dash it out, look for some runs off into the distance. Jared Jones, honestly, I'm pretty surprised he's going pretty hard as he is out of the gate, making some serious moves and headways. And again, it's going to be quick and paced early, because the thing is, even with that open dog leg, a lot of drivers are looking for timing and execution. But this track and this kind of style of racing throws you for a few more curveballs than maybe most are expecting. You can't just take Phoenix lightly. Again, does it look like it a very exciting track? But when you open up stuff or you give drivers some way to have a little bit more breathing room, let's just say usually they will take full advantage of that. Joshua Ballier right now up on the bottom lane, shoots to the inside, makes a huge run there. Hamilton not able to hold him off. They'll try to fight him back, coming off the corner of turn number 2. And again, it is going to sound a little tricky here, but again, when they come off turn 4 right here, the start-finish line comes up right up quickly and then enters into what they call the dog leg. Now, there's two ways to run it. You can go the way you see Joshua go, or you can do the very, very incredibly crazy inside of the entire open area. That is going to be more so for the drivers to really build their speed up, build their power down on the track here. So again, watch out for drivers trying to make their moves and trying to make their marks here. But something tells me the longer it goes on, the tougher it becomes here for a lot of these drivers to really keep things under the control and in their own pressure here. Through the runs and through the momentum. Here we do have some battles going on here. Giordano and the number 21 having a little bit of company on his doorstep. Slam on the wall, though, there for the Grizzly number 3, of course, Hamilton Jr. Hamilton Jr. almost just slammed himself right out into the track and almost got himself into a whole lot of a mess there. Needs to be careful here, especially on the longer run. But you want to talk about hard chargers right now. He is your ultimate hard charger currently. Charged up 8 positions. He started back in 14th. He's in 6th right now. And again, no surprise considering he's one of those drivers that usually can kind of play into a strategy car, play into this key roles here. He's a tough one to watch out for. He's a tough one to keep your eye out on. As we look back in the mid-pack, we are going for some mid-pack madness here. Let's watch this battle going on here between Morgan Sterling and Adam Gardner. Gardner representing for his loved one, his father, up on the front of that hood here. After last week, though, feels like he finally got himself that monkey off their back, if you will. The cursed monkey, he French, was thrown away, and he managed to get himself into victory lane. It was his first win of the season. And how rewarding and how crazy was it for him to be able to do it while everyone else basically found a way to take themselves out of contention. He's looking to try and get something figured out here today once more. On the twin tier security solutions here, driver 65 of Kyle Lingerfeld. And you can just see again just how much they're having to shift in and around on this track here. Shifting going to be very, very crucial for these drivers. I don't know if you can see the inside of that cockpit there, but you actually can see Lingerfeld actually slamming that sequential shifter in and around as he goes from 4th to 5th, entering through the front half of the race there. Things will kind of now spread themselves out. Now this becomes more of a tire strategy, a fuel mileage call. And right now, Andrew St. Cord, not exactly too worried about it, staying focused on his lane and his control. Let's check it down to the chat list here. B-Max says, way to go, 12, pole position. Have a great race, son. He also wrote on down there for Kevin and Adam. Go team BMP. Nicey Gang 1050, I believe. I hope I'm saying that right. Says, woo, let go, Henry and McLeod. And B-Mac says, you're a great broadcaster. So much excitement. B-Mac, appreciate the help there, brother. Right now, though, I think anyone's going to need a little bit of help. Might be that number 12 here. He's got company on his doorstep. And it's the form of a number 29 and Jared Jones. A lot of battling going on out of the gate. A lot of drivers trying to take late claim onto the fame here. And again, this track, considering that they're having to shift in and around the circuit, and they're having to really make some very desperate maneuvers, timing and execution can be very, very troublesome here. As you see, Balliet rolling right up to the bottom lane. Got underneath the yellow line there. Usually that's no man's land down there. Because the thing is, it's a flat surface, and you're going from a slightly banking to a flat surface. But let's just say cars don't exactly like that too much when you're going at speeds that are shooting well over the 165 marker. Some of these guys are hitting top speeds of 169 right now. I mean, they're flying into these corners here. Now, you may be thinking, oh, 169, that's nothing. Hey, these guys can usually go 100 miles. They can go to over 200 miles per hour usually. What are you talking about, broadcaster? Well, you're not wrong. But let me ask you this. When's the last time you were on a mile-long track and you went over 100 miles per hour, let alone 160? I do ask you that, my good fellow friends and folks questioning what I'm talking about. Speaking of questioning and what I'm talking right now, looks like the Rockstar having a little bit of a talking to down there with the number 9 of Ben Henry. He's having himself a little shootout down there as well. Gotta love it with that Napa Auto Parts 9 coming for a fight, coming for a brigade, and right now throwing a few grenades at that 96 of Rogers. But Rogers able to avoid him and avoid trouble. But there is another one that enters the fold. Joshua McLuhan, number 51, last time out, had a great showing. Finishing well into the top 5 bracket, almost getting himself a shot at victory lane. He was firing all cylinders and putting a lot of drivers to shame that day. Now, looking on in the backstack, trying to get some of that speed he gained at Talladega into Phoenix today. It's a long road and a lot of work, though, to be done here, especially considering like what's going down on the circuit and how much pressure is on. Same can be said here for the driver of the 13, Kevin Thompson. And Thompson, throughout his season, again, he's had second place finish so far. He's had a good look at Talladega, had a good run there. Came up short, ended up finding himself more trapped and a bit of an issue there. Now having to go back to what you consider probably more so a traditional kind of race for these drivers. Now he has to figure out what exactly can he do with the tempo, the pacing, and again, the way this track runs. Because again, it is a short track for these drivers' standards, but in reality, this is probably as close to I could say as like a short track to between intermediate track. It is technically a short track, but again, the way it races, certainly wouldn't think so. It's a very strategy-called racetrack. But again, if things get late to down to the wire with that open dog leg down there, it can throw a few drivers for a loop, and that's where you need to be careful, especially considering where things can go here. Performance and position right now, very keen on the strategy here as we now take a look at some of our drivers in that position here. Definitely got to shoot a little bit of a look towards that number 3 here, Forrest Hamilton Jr. Again, he started back in 14, and just in a matter of only 20 laps, he has now moved his way into the 5th spot and charged up quickly. He made some great runs and some good openings, but that also can be the same thing said for the driver that runs in the number 56 down there, who currently, after having fought out there with Morgan Sterling and still in the way dealing with old Sterling, managing to at least kind of show that that position he had back at Talladega was no fluke. He can certainly race with the best of them on the plate tracks, but again, with these short tracks, he's got to really start to kind of nail down some runs and figure out some corners. That's where I feel like he's going to be very tricky to kind of get an idea or grasp on what they're doing. And then you got guys like this one right here, a driver with the 67 and Anthony Hamilton. And again, this is probably, I think, the first or second time we've seen Hamilton on the circuit this season. If I have missed him, I do apologize in advance. But Hamilton, honestly, just for the fact that he kind of started out so strong out of the gate, tells me that he knew something going in with this Phoenix race. And he's already kind of grasping at some straws, as well as grasping at anything that looks like possibly a slight edge over the competition. And if you can do that in these kind of races especially, that does help out quite a bit. Elizabeth is on board with us today. They say, go, Aiden, go. Well, so far, Aiden not out of the woods yet, but in my opinion, he needs to start picking up the pace here. He's already back 5 spots down from where he qualified in. He qualified today here in the 3rd spot. And the fact that he's running 8th right now, again, he's kind of, I hate to say this out loud, but he's technically right now our best to worst end of the driver list right now. But obviously he's trying to fix that up a bit right now as he's going to go mano a mano with Klingerfeld and the Flying Dutchman himself and Jeremiah Stutzman. Klingerfeld managing to make a move around off the inside and kind of corner him down. As you see now, even Kevin Thompson kind of making a little bit of a run off here. It's beast mode engaged on the 13. And talk about some power and drive on the track there that they're bringing up here. Again, he's driving so hard on the inside. He's trying to find a way to pass the 21 without obviously wrecking it. With that open dog leg, it helps out a bit. But again, you can only go so far down on that dog leg before eventually you kind of picked up more problems and you have gotten better. You don't want to steer too hard on these cars and rip up the tires. What you want to do is you want to try and kind of ease the car as straight as possible and not turn in any more than you have to. But temperamental tires here, as well as the fact that that heat here in Avondale can make the difference, certainly puts these drivers at a bit of a disadvantage. Give you guys an idea of it here. Let's take a look at our Track Tech Talk presented in part by our friends at Twin Tier Security Solutions. So, weather right now, again, actually pretty cool here for Phoenix here. Obviously, I would have expected it to be a little hotter. But the fact is, since it's a little cooler, the track has a lot of grip, but could help the drivers a little bit, and we're not worrying about having to burn up rubber too quickly. But as time goes on and more speed is played on the track, again, 87 degrees on the temperature is not going to play well for those that are trying to enable a very short-term strategy. That short-term versus long-term strategy is going to be very, very prolific and very tough to kind of keep things under control. As right now, Andrew St. Cyr with the race lead. And again, he's looking for win number 2. I believe so far no driver has been able to get a double-digit win in this season other than, I believe, no, not even Aiden. I take that back. I thought Aiden might have. But looking at my track sheet, looking at my time sheets and my sheets here, he actually does not have 2 wins. Kyle Lingerfeld won the first race this season. He got that back in the exhibition race. Of course, we have to think about Forrest Hamilton Jr. gets his win at Daytona. Adam Gardner, last time out, got one. He got that win down at Talladega. It's Andrew St. Cyr. Again, he got his back in Auto Club. That was a big one for him. Valier got one back at Charlotte Motor Speedway. That was a very, very tough race there for him to fight it out. And then, of course, Aiden Garridano, I believe, got the second win of the season here. He's been pretty much consistent throughout. He currently, if you look at the standings here, he is currently, right now, your number 1 seed entering into this race. At 87.3 points-wise, Forrest Hamilton Jr. is knocking on his doorstep, trying to get to him, and looking to try to get everything he can on him here as they continue to march their way down around the track. Keeping the time delta sheets up for just a second here, I kind of wanted to show you just how far in between Cyr and Valier are right now from one another. And Joshua, honestly, right now, the way I'm looking at it here, the way I'm seeing it, he's got a lot of speed, and he's got a lot of grip, but it just seems like the dirty airflow around here has been kind of catching him in a bit of a problem. Again, he's getting a lot of run, but again, without really being able to maintain distance and maintain control, that speed that you build up and you get that power down on, it doesn't necessarily do you much good. It ends up kind of throwing you for a bit of a loop here. And I think that's what he's trying to currently get out of. Got to look back in the mid-pack here right now, and it is more mid-pack madness and skewing as Matthew Setzer is currently holding on to the ninth spot here. Adam Gardner in the 10th spot, 5 spots up. And, you know, it's kind of surprising me that Gardner, whatever switch he flicked or whatever all of a sudden kind of got into him, at least at the start of this race, honestly, he's been very impressive for the fact that he's been able to make moves quickly, kind of stay in his own lane, kind of stay out of trouble. I think if you got a dark horse here, I think Gardner might be my dark horse driver to a top 5. I don't know if his speed-wise is able to get the win, but if he's got a strategy in there, I think he might be one to watch out for here. One driver right now, though, I really want to start seeing some more of and really get more of an idea of what they bring to the table is definitely this driver right here, and the Flying Dutchman, Jeremiah Stutzman. He's currently 8th right now. He started 8th, and again, he's had a bit of an up and down kind of season. He's been in some bad wrecks that got him out early. He's been in some troublesome spots throughout, and he just hasn't been where I feel as though at least he should be as a driver and where he should be as a position for the track. Now, again, it could just be a matter of time before he starts kind of dialing things in, starts really figuring it out. But again, with this kind of race, these kind of drivers here, you just can't give an inch to the other. You have to basically holster down the momentum. You got to find a way to throw all your emotions aside and just let your car, your vehicle, do the talking. And right now, we're doing some serious talking to right now from Helton and Lingerfeld. And you can just see, too, just how much of a difference maker that open dogleg is versus running on the outside of the dogleg, where you're supposed to usually run. If it was a closed open oval, that's where they usually would go. But Lingerfeld, in my opinion, obviously is building up a lot more power, a lot more drive. But how much of it is tearing up the right front of that tire? Because again, trying to turn that thing in as hard as you do, you're having to risk the possibility of overwearing the tire out, overwearing your steering ratio. And that steering column in there only can take so much. And Helton right now trying to make him pay for that. Lingerfeld, again, very impressive as well. Out of the gate, 12 spots up. He went from 12th to 5th now. He is 7 currently up into the field. As we get a little onboard camera with that Home Depot 09 here of Hilton, kind of rocking, kind of like a little Halloween colors here coming up. Yeah, it might be Thanksgiving too. It looks more like Halloween to me though. I don't know. You guys be the judge in the comments section down below. I think that looks more like Halloween if you ask me. But at the moment here, he's going to get a few frightening spots being taken away from him because Thompson, after that move that he was dealing with from Lingerfeld, didn't realize Thompson was going to come into the picture all of a sudden. And right up ahead, too, as well, the number 2, Josh Fox, is currently a lap down. That's not for a lack of trying or being slow. He actually went into pit road on lap number 30. Aiden Garridano also on 31. Hamilton went on 30. 37 for both Ben Henry and Jeremiah Stutzman. So now we're getting an idea on what the fuel strategy is, what the tire strategy will be, and where these drivers kind of play themselves in. But again, the race leaders have not exactly been leaving each other alone. Joshua Balliet right now, oh my word, he is still keeping a close, tight distance on that 12 Accord. But again, I almost kind of get that same kind of feeling, that same kind of vibe that we had at Auto Club, which was, can you find a way around the other driver without having to basically use the old chrome horn on him? Personally, I don't think you can on these kind of tires. I think, honestly, you have to use a little bit more of that car up on the other driver and get them loose. I don't think for 1 second you should punt them entering in 3 and 4. But I do believe that if you have the lane or you find an opening, you might have to start driving a little bit more aggressively here. Find an opening or shot to kind of take them for the ride. Again, it's early, so you don't want to make the driver in front of you madder than they already probably are from being right on their tailpipe. But at the end of the day, though, do you want to win the race, or do you want to end up trying to make friends all the time? That's something these drivers are currently having to face up with and deal with in that kind of mindset. Nizzy Gang, and again, I hope I'm saying that right, says definitely giving Halloween vibes. All right, well, at least I know I'm not completely crazy down there. And again, Joshua just kind of waiting his turn, keeping a close eye and distance on that number 12 here of the BMP Beast Mode driver here of the 12. And side by side, though, with lap traffic, that could play a factor here. McLuhan trying to stay out of trouble. He wants to keep his strategy in check, but Joshua, like a shark in the open waters, when you smell blood in the ocean, you either feast or you get feasted on. Joshua did not want to be the one who gets eaten alive, so he went for the run, didn't quite get it on Andrew. Andrew able to hold the marker down and hold the lane in check. Back up to the front of this pack here as well. We're going to look in the top 5 bracket. Jarrett Jones and Forrest Hamilton Jr. looking on. As they know what the other 2 drivers are doing in front of them, they're probably just kind of chipping away into their minds where and when is going to be the best time to go to pit road. When do you go and take fuel? When do you go and take tires? Speaking of that, looking at the lap time positions and everything, it looks like, at least from my end, it looks like that Aiden, Jeremiah, Anthony Hamilton, and Ben Henry all did take tires. And it looks like Josh Fox might have taken tires too here. If they did not, then I'm honestly very surprised they're holding up as well as they do here. But you got the battle right now going on for 3rd. Forrest Hamilton Jr., big move to the inside. And a huge run from the Grizzly number 3. Talk about laying waste of claim to fame, man. He absolutely had to dig that thing in and basically make a huge run for it. Took full center stage there. Jarrett nowhere he could go and just pretty much had to watch on from the distance. And again, Jarrett Jones, very impressive here, considering that he started 4th. He's been holding on to that 4th position. You're going up against guys that have already this season proven they are not going to be the easiest ones to take down here. But in this case here, it seems as though that pit strategy and the timing of the call is going to be what wins this race. Looking on from the background. Hell, let's take a look here as Aiden Garridano trying to get his lap back away from Lingerfeld. And again, I'm very surprised, though, that Aiden decided to go into pit road as early as he did here, all things considered, because honestly, I didn't feel like he had a whole lot of power to begin with. But then again, just could have been just saving himself up. But is a quick pit strategy call going to be the best move, in my opinion? Or is he trying to maybe figure another lane out? Is he trying to see what else is available? Just seems really out of ordinary's positioning, though, for him and his team to be able to be doing what they're doing right now, all things considered. Back up to the race leaders right now here, and again with Ben Henry right up in the mix. He currently already has a lap down. He doesn't want to go any more laps down than he has to. He's 2 laps down to be exact if he gets passed up this time by. But this is a big one right here. Joshua and Andrew both into pit road same time. Got to slow her down. Joshua trying to swerve the tires off, trying to get to swerve up and slow up a bit. He does indeed, and is successful. And McLuhan also joining in with them here. So very, very interesting strategy calls here on the timing sheets here. We're going to focus in on the 12 and the 18. I want to see if tires and fuel are going on, or will it just be tires? Or excuse me, will it just be fuel? Whoa, Joshua, slight hiccup there. That's usually something you don't see from him. He made a mistake getting in pit road. All 4 tires are going on both drivers, though, so that will now dictate the pace. So it looks like they're going for what I call the 1/3 method. You got 3, you only have 2 pit stops to worry about, and that final 3rd round of racing to deal with. The Grizzly number 3, though, is your race leader. And again, I kind of wonder, how long is he going to stay out, and when does he plan to go to pit road? Is he maybe trying something completely out of the blue? Is he possibly looking at trying to go halfway in with this one and then halfway back out? It's a very bold strategy, considering, again, you got 2 drivers that are bad fast right now that just took tires and fuel. And you're dealing with traffic also kind of trying to make their way around you here at the moment. The Flying Dutchman gets it around on the inside. Does get around Forrest Hamilton Jr. Aiden now looking to try to capitalize on it too, as he finally got around Lingerfeld. But Lingerfeld, again, trying to keep everybody in his own lane in check. So far, the only drivers that have yet to go to pit road are as followed. Well, never mind, not Forrest Hamilton Jr. He just went in there. I was just about to say, the only ones we're missing so far was Jarrett Jones, Forrest Hamilton Jr., Kyle Lingerfeld, Kevin Thompson, as well as Adam Gardner. That's the only ones that have yet now to go to pit road. So this is a very, very interesting tell the tale. It seems as though you can go 1/3 of the way easily. So that means you have to at least pit stop twice. But some drivers went in really early on the pit stop cycle. Is this a certain call that they're making? Lingerfeld will lead it. Right now, Thompson trying to get back up to him, though. We're going to go on board here with Thompson. Uh-oh, a little trouble down there for Forrest Hamilton Jr. of all things. He's got a problem. He's got a big problem down there. Left front slashed up and damaged up badly for the number 3. What has happened to Hamilton? We will go to the replay. Anthony Hamilton, by the way, has left the server. He's out of here. I'm not sure what happened to Hamilton. He was doing so well earlier on. But it seems as though too many mechanical gremlins or too many problems cost him his chance to try to stay in this battle. My question, though, is what happened to Forrest? Looks like came right out of the gate. Oh, right there. Oh. Cold tires did not get that thing out of the grip, and basically on that flat surface on a cold set, they're not exactly the easiest to work with. No caution out, obviously, but for Forrest Hamilton right now, that is a major, major blow. He just suffered all that speed and build-up. He figured it out. Now he just lost it. Nicey Gang says, let's go, YC Paw. You got this, guys. Well, right now, definitely a long road there. Forrest Hamilton Jr. now looking on, realizing that the front runners are coming up towards him. Lingerfeld finally back into pit row. So it looks like everybody has now gone into the pit cycle and out of the pit strategy and out of the call. So far, I honestly like Andrew St. Coeur as well as Joshua Ballier job right now. Joshua to me and Coeur right now, honestly, they're going to be the two to watch out for in this race, barring anything crazy happens or a caution comes out. Because the way I'm looking at it right now, the way I'm seeing it is, again, you got two heavy hitters pushing and shoving their runs around, trying to keep their momentum up high, trying to keep things in their own destiny. Josh currently trying to find a way around Andrew. Andrew doing everything he can to keep following his own line, keep the 18 behind. Oh my word, what strategy calls must be going through these guys' minds right now. I don't even want to begin to think there. Looking for the outside lane maybe, looking to try to cross him over through lap traffic. He's going for the inside, here we go. Can Josh get the run? He's right there with him. Andrew, though, almost looked like he just turned on the burners because he left them to burn away that run from the 18. That is some nitrox there that he just used on him, and he wasn't even expecting it. This again confirming it was actually Pennsylvania, PA is what they meant. Oh, all right, my bad, my bad. I just saw it CPA as like a capital P and a lowercase a, so I thought maybe it was like PA there. I do apologize. Josh right now still looking to that inside run. He really wants that race lead because he knows if Andrew loses that lead, he has a shot to basically kind of do the same thing Andrew's been doing at him. But here now lies the problem. When you got teammates coming up on your doorstep, now you got to worry about them here. And Kevin Thompson immediately running there with the BMP crew. It is beast mode activated for the teammates. But will he work with Andrew here to keep Joshua behind a little longer? He's again saying it's cool. I'm typing and trying to pay attention at the same time. Well, I mean, I feel for you on that one. Just imagine trying to type at the same time, like trying to switch cameras and do an announcer while I'm holding the new microphone in my hand here like you usually do as an announcer. Usually it's on my headset, but since we switched this new microphone, it definitely sounds better. But, man, I really got to get a better system so I can have another hand available. Speaking of available, looks like you got some battles going on here. Josh Fox as well as Jeremiah Stutzman. A little slip slash of the dash here. That's Fox managing to make us ready around Stutzman. And Stutzman getting him right back at him. That's what 7-lap tire differences will make for you here. And Stutzman knew it. Fox now just trying to see if he can deliver the Foxtrot Express back at him. I'm going to go on board, though, for a little bit. I want you guys to pay attention to how gingerly these drivers are on 30-lap tires right now compared to where they were. Notice how smoother and how slower they are easing in and on that gas pedal. Again, compared to relatively what we're about to now see with the race leader up front right now. Oh, hang on a minute, because we got a battle up front. Joshua finally got an opening there. Looks like he saw a chance here, and Andrew didn't realize he caught him off guard. Now side by side for the race lead. Andrew trying to hold Josh off. Josh knows he wants him. He's going down deep. Looking to get it to stick. He's got the dog leg to his advantage. Andrew needs to corner back down quickly. Don't give him the opening. Squares it back up. Will follow the same line. He's trying so desperately to keep that lane in check. And Joshua, it looked like he had something there, and it cost him dearly. Oh, my word. All right, now we can go on board here. I want you guys to pay attention to the difference maker these two are at. Look at this. He's in third gear, actually, going into turn number 4. Or turn 4, excuse me. All right, you noticed how gingerly last time they were on the throttle getting in and out, but look at Andrew. Look at how much harder he's coming off. Look at how quickly those tires grip as soon as he gets a chance. And he's going into third gear in turn number 3 and 4. That's a difference maker there, in my opinion. That's a very bold strategy that revs the engine up a little more, and that can honestly burn through the fuel a bit, but it seems as though it's working quite well, and Andrew making it definitely succeed where he needs it. B-Mac says not really missing the man from Marvel this week. Okay, we're not getting into that one, B-Mac. I about had pitchforks and torches in my comment section last time. I don't need another revolt on the circuit. Speaking of a revolt, it looks like some rebel racing style mentality coming out of Aiden as he tries to bring the Outback Steakhouse 21 back into the run. Kyle Lingerfeld, though, was ready for him, and fresher tires definitely making a difference maker here. Yeah, we talked a lot about, too, again, how much you wear and tear on those tires after so long of a run and all that, but look at the brake rotors there. Look at them. Look at them glow. Those brake rotors are glowing like crazy because, again, Aiden is working the throttle and working the brakes so hard. He's trying to basically get this car to take a set and trying not to overdo it to where it may break on him there in a bad position. So he's having to not only kind of keep ease in and ease out, but he's hoping that those rotors don't catch on fire. Because, again, once that rubber burns off on him and it starts hitting on the metal, well, let's just say it doesn't usually work out well in your favor. Jarrett Jones on the 29 here now having a good look on the inside as he tries to get around the Home Depot Camry of Helton. And Keith Elton, smart thinking here, know what to do. Throw the block and make sure you send Jones a little further back into this. But it looks like Jones wasn't exactly too thrilled with Helton there. He threw the dive bomb into the back half. And watch out, here comes a dive bomb from Lingerfeld. He threw it to the inside, and he went swinging for the fences and hit himself a Sammy Sosa home run out of that bad boy. I cannot believe I just dated myself that bad. I am sorry to say I do not know too much about normal baseball, the regular MLB stuff these days, so I apologize. I'm just going off past memories here, guys. But nevertheless, that was a massive homer from Lingerfeld as he now makes his way around Merlin A. Duran in the 45. And again, Merlin, at this point, I honestly just think he's just trying to stay out of the way of being trouble for the drivers. But credit where credit's due. He's not just laying off and just giving them too much room. He's still racing. He's already got around Anthony Hamilton, who cut out early on. So right now, he's just kind of trying to keep himself well in his own rhythm here. B-Mac says, I couldn't resist, sorry. Well, B-Mac, I forgive you, but at the same time, man, like I said, that I'm glad when my comment section's talking, but that was definitely one of those races I was like, yeah, I can see what you mean from the announcer perspective, but at the same time, as a driver's perspective, it's two different things. It's really hard to balance them sometimes. It's like oil and water. You just can't mix them together. Speaking of mixing together, I don't think purple and black, honestly, mix up too well, especially when the driver in that 65 decides he wants to basically take full center aim and control there. And Ben Henry, I'm not sure what happened there. Saw some puff of smoke coming out of the number 9 machine there as you saw that pass coming up from him. Let's take a look at the replay and see what happened here to the number 9 here of Ben Henry. Looks like he had a great battle entering in there with McLuhan. And McLuhan, oh, what's that? Oh! That's the first mistake we've seen from a driver shifting down into a gear and not being able to catch that corner in turn 3. That's the first time someone's gotten loose there. But a great save by the driver in that 9. But unfortunately, it looks like his pit crew saying, we got to get those tires switched out, my friend. So the 9 of Henry going to go into pit road here and see how that plays out for him. But right now, again, Ballier right now as well as Core looking to go to war. One more time maybe, or maybe for the last time. All I know is they have to go back into pit road at least one more time. I'm going to make a prediction now, though. Again, we saw what happened earlier on their calls. I think that the strategy for Balliet is going to be go into pit road at least around the 101 marker. 103 is where I'd say he's going to put his limit at. For Core, I'm thinking 102. Maybe 104 if he wants to run it from there. But that's what I'm going to guess. Lap 101. So 103, 104. That's when I predict they will go to pit road. Aiden Garradano right now at a little bit of a troubleshoot here. Yeah, you think we forgot about that 3. No, we didn't. Forrest Hamilton Jr. is not out of this one yet, folks. He may have had an interesting pit strategy call, but he's got some lightning fast speed down there when he can held it down. He's not a lap down yet either, and he's trying so desperately to kind of keep that in his own lane, his own check here. And again, very few drivers have led any race laps here except for Andrew and even, of course, Forrest Hamilton Jr. here. There's been a couple of other leaders here, but again, very far and in between, and he's just trying to keep that momentum up. Garradano now surrendering his spot, now has to go a lap down, and he realizes he got company on his doorstep. Stutzman come up into the battle. Watch out for the Flying Dutchman, race fans. He's got something. He's got fresh tires. He's got fuel. And look at that. Look at that speed he carries right entering through the corner there. That is a tremendous amount of momentum here as he fights quickly ahead with the race leaders. That's what I was talking about earlier again, is that lap traffic and that kind of position with those tires, when you get that grip and you get that momentum, you start to dial things in. You almost go into a kind of a trance, if you will. It's almost like you see tunnel vision. You're only focused on the one lane, the one area, and forget the rest. It's a very narrow vision, but it's a very smooth vision when done correctly. And it performs very well and does very good when you need it to. Andrew right now doing everything he can to hold off Joshua Babaye right now. Man, oh man, I don't know how the Hades this guy is staying with him, considering he's ran multiple angles and multiple different lines trying to get around that number 12. Andrew, whoa, that was a little bit wider than I was expecting out of that 12. He used up all turn 1 and 2, that much is for certain. Is he possibly trying to kind of follow a certain line from the 3, or is he kind of getting a little bit of that dirty airflow kind of hurting him? Lap traffic speed right now costing him a bit. Joshua's coming up for him. But again, can Josh somehow, some way get a break or get an opening? And even if he does, when does he decide to go into pit road? He's been kind of playing Andrew's strategy here, but again, when you need to go to pit road, do you try to continue doing what you're doing, or do you try to make a move off on your own here? Is he going to come flying up on Fox? I thought maybe he had something there on Andrew, but again, it was not to be. He's got the draft. He just isn't getting around that bubble. It's almost like it's kind of an anchor, if you will, of dirty air, just slowing that 18 down just so much. And Andrew just giving it everything he's got and then some to hold him back. He's doing a tremendous job of it, but again, how much longer can one do before it's too little too late? Get a little onboard camera right now with Josh Fox as you continue to see him trying to hold Aiden Garradano back away from him. McClune, 2 laps down compared to the 1 lap. But I think McClune as well had gone in on pit road. Yeah, he did go into pit road a lot sooner. He was in on lap number 51, so he's obviously in kind of a bit of a no man's land right now position, unless something changes on the strategy and something changes on the calls here. But again, it looks like drivers at the moment just trying to hold up whatever they can left here. Trying to give you guys a different view on everyone else around the field. But again, I have to keep coming back to this race battle for the lead. Because honestly, one wrong move from Andrew and Joshua's got him. But it looks like, in my opinion, it looks like Forrest Hamilton Jr. might be kind of playing into Andrew's strength here. I think Forrest might be kind of helping him a bit. Andrew seems to be using that draft zone, and there you see Joshua, man. He got so much of that outside exit, he got slammed into the wall there and taken for a ride. Aiden and Josh Box have both entered into pit road. Now pit stops can be made. Battle is on out of pit road. Josh going to get Aiden beat out of there, but again, not by much. Oh, look on the outside again. Oh, can he finally get him this time? He's looking for him. He's trying to get him. He's just not catching any breaks, not catching any runs. Man, oh man, he is absolutely just holding everything he's got to. I mean, I'm running out of adjectives and everything because it's, again, it's just so quick and crazy how hard they're battling for that one position, that one run. Where you got like guys like Jarrett Jones and Kevin Thompson more spread out in the field and more kind of reining in their own stuff here. We're back on board with Keith Helton here. And again, started back in 7th, currently in 6th. He has done pretty much everything correctly in terms of what he should be doing. There's just been one problem. He hasn't been able to figure out where the speed was. And even there you can see where those tires, the longer this one goes, kind of starts to fade in on him, hurt him a bit. Saw it right there for just a brief second. On board here with our rock star Matt Rogers here. And it looks like a lot of drivers are kind of configuring into the going into 3rd gear strategy here. I think a lot of it has to do with the fact that, again, they're burning up so much their stuff here. They're trying to get these things to turn in where they can. That was a heavy ringer there out of the door panels. As Rogers slapdashing that wall right off turn number 2. Seems to be okay, though. Kyle Lingerfeld now looks like kind of honestly the interesting pick here. He pitted on lap number 61, and he's only about 18 seconds back of Josh and Andrew. His speed certainly is a little faster. He's trying to make up that momentum wherever he can, but in my opinion, does he go in a lap later than these two and then try to outsmart him with some speed, or will he go in or will he stay out as late as he has to? But here comes the pit stop. This is it right here, race fans. This pit stop, in my opinion, will determine the tale. Josh knows he's going to have to go full center bore around with Andrew. Andrew knows now he's going to be pushing this thing to its limits. Kyle Lingerfeld going to come up quickly up from the back half, looking for that pass around those two. Pulls it right off as a twin-tier security solution. Has now finally got himself a shot at becoming only the first driver to get 2 wins in a season. His win coming in the exhibition race, now looking to change that here today. Andrew, good pit stop. Same thing with Josh. Andrew out of pit road. Same time. Joshua trying to hurry. Now it's Lingerfeld's decision, his choice. What does the driver of the 65 do? Does he try to pursue? Does he try to hold on? With nearly 50 laps left to go, timing is not on these drivers' side here. It's been caution-free from the get-go. There hasn't been anything too major, just a couple of slight spinners and slight corners taken up as everyone just continues to do their own rhythm, their own stuff here. And again, I'm very interested to know, like, with some of these drivers, what their pit strategy call was and what they were thinking. on some of those early pit stops, because again, I feel like more than anything that hurt them on the extreme long run. But maybe they weren't thinking of the long run. Maybe they were thinking that it was going to boil down to a couple drivers making the big mistake early. Maybe they thought that, honestly, they were going to get that chance and kind of keep things well within their grasp. It's hard to say. Safe to say most lap sled's going to go to that number 12 here. But again, the one lap is the most crucial, important one. It's the final lap. And here we go again. Joshua to the inside. And Hamilton slightly up in the way here. This time might be the opening. Can he get it around him? Side by side once again. Slight advantage to Joshua. Andrew with a slight run though off the track. Has to dive in low. This pass could tell the tale and could end things here. Andrew doing everything he can, trying to hold him back. Back down the extreme bottom. Joshua trying to give it all she's got. But Andrew, with strategy on his mind, 3 wide, saluted through turn 1 and 2. Oh, mama, they almost tag each other coming through 2. Stayed clear of it. Forrest Hamilton Jr. having to lose another lap down. And Andrew, by the skin of whoever's teeth in this case, holds on. Joshua, though, look at this. Back to the inside. He says, I'm not giving up that easily. He's firing off. He wants it. Can he clear him? He's got the draft off Josh Box. He's trying to use it, but Andrew gets it back from him. Trying to hold it down. 3 wide. Once again, Lingerfeld and Thompson praying that they'll just get themselves in some mess so they can get the race lead to themselves. Valier right now absolutely digging his heels in and his claws on that 12, but Andrew, my word, he's just a persistent man, isn't he? He stayed in his lane. He never changed it. Joshua did everything he could, but the strategy just didn't play out the way he wanted. Has he burned up any last bit of that run? Has he burned up any last chance he had? That's the question now. Lingerfeld continuing to lead it by a good 10 seconds ahead. Thompson trying to come up with him. Thompson in 5 seconds behind, but getting some ground up quickly as Core and Ballier right now hard on the throttle trying to get back to him. May not seem like it right now, but again, lap traffic right now in a battle for the 7th spot. Forrest Hamilton Jr. trying to get back to Jarrett Jones. Not getting so lucky yet, as the damage on the nose of that thing right now caused him more trouble than he wants. He did such a great job earlier on making that run off to the distance, but it seems as though time is not on his side here. And look at this! A little bit of a crossover, a wind-up. We just can't get away from these two, can we? Joshua switching lanes. He goes to the outside this time. Is he trying to throw Andrew into a different lane, I wonder? Is he trying to get a new strategy going? Again, Lingerfeld has to go into pit road at some point. Thompson went in. And Joshua, look at this final run. Did he get him? Did he get him? Oh, he might have, and he did. Joshua's got it. Andrew trying to get him back now. This is the first time Andrew's had to go on offense. He played defense all day long. And into the night skies, Joshua with the final run. Oh, my word. Andrew right now has got to be a sick man, just thinking how he was so close to putting this one to bed. And now looks like Joshua has strengthened the numbers and now strengthened his run. Jarrett Jones trying to get back to the inside, trying to take away Joshua's position. He wants that lap back. Lingerfeld, what must be he thinking? 6 seconds ahead. Watching these guys go at it as hard as they are right now, realizing he might not be the one getting it to victory lane. Lingerfeld almost at this point praying to the racing lords, give him a break, give him a chance. He knows he can't go this distance without fuel. He went on lap 61. He has to go back to pit road at some point. He doesn't have enough. If he does, then I'd love to see what kind of Smoky Unix strategy style he did inside that car, because there is no way it'll last that long. Jarrett Jones finally getting around Joshua, getting back his position. Core right now, just at this point, probably trying to figure anything else he can at this point. Do whatever he can to get back that position. He led a majority of this race, but the long-term strategy card and perhaps lap traffic caught him off guard. Joshua was a patient man today. He played to his strengths, and he did exactly what he was doing back at Charlotte when he caught Aiden Garridano off guard. And Core into the wall protection. He's struggling, but wait a minute. There's problems down there. Setzer, he's put it into pit road. No caution out for the number 5. What has happened to Setzer, though? We're going to the Speed Zone TV Instant Replay, brought to you in part by Twin Tier Security Solutions. Whoa! Oh, man! That whole the whole left end of that thing going up into the air, and right there you see him go right by Josh Fox. I'm surprised that did not result in a caution, but the damage already but done. And Lingerfeld right now just probably thinking, you couldn't have done that a little sooner next time. Oh, that 65 right now. It's just got to be just feeling sick to his stomach. He's going to get his tires in fuel, but does he have enough time to catch up? Joshua and Andrew right now are going to lead this field down. Jeremiah Stutzman and Jarrett Jones, the only drivers now not a lap down. Lingerfeld back on the track. Forrest Hamilton Jr. trying to catch up with him. And Hamilton Jr. again, he went in on lap 96. I honestly am very curious, though, what the strategy call will be. Oh, wait a minute. What's going on down there? Lingerfeld, he's in the wall protection. Alternative T. He's in the wall. What has happened to Lingerfeld? Oh, and he is just as disgusted as well as Setzer was. He is calling it a night. No caution for that either. The cars went right by him here, and I don't know if the iRacing gods are being very generous today or what, but he came to a dead stop in traffic there and slammed the wall hard there. Slipped up the entire right side there. You saw he was trying to save it, and just the misery that he has got to be feeling from that one, far none. Oh, my word. Honestly, there were 3 times that caution flag could have came out in this race, but the iRacing gods determined no. We will stay clean and green. If they made a mistake, that's their own fault. They're out of the way of the race line. Vinny kind of thinking the same thing I am. How is that not a caution? Yeah, I'm right there with you. Honestly, I thought that 5 would have been very egregious for a caution. But the iRacing God said, no, this is not going to happen. We want the drivers to race it from here. I think Josh and Andrew probably don't mind that idea too much. But at the moment here, I think Andrew probably would have loved nothing more than another chance to go firing out. Vinny asking, where is race control? Vinny, I'm the last guy to ask about that one. I have no idea there. At the moment, though, it really wouldn't do much to the drivers any good. Everybody except 4th place, well, that, excuse me, now 3rd place is the only ones not a lap down. So at this point, doesn't matter if that caution comes out. Only a couple drivers have been able to get their lap back, if you will. Jarrett Jones, the last of the remaining drivers that's not named Andrew St. Cyr or Joshua Baye. This has been an absolute Winston Cup beatdown. And again, you would think that shouldn't happen with the next-gen car, but, well, you'd be surprised sometimes. If North Spokesboro taught us anything, it doesn't matter what kind of car you put anything in. Sometimes The car itself isn't the problem. It's the driver that goes out there and gives it 110% or more and just gives it better than anyone else does, and fate falls in their hands. We do have one little battle going on, though. In the top 5 right now, Stutzman, the Flying Dutchman, dealing with Thompson right behind him. And Kevin Thompson, here he comes, right to the inside. Big run there off turn 2. Got a good look on the back half now. He sets it in through turn 3. And Thompson moving into the 5th spot. He's now 8 positions up, the Hard Charger Award recipient. But how much longer will he be able to keep things going in his favor? Time running out right now, down to the final 25 laps this time on by. Andrew St. Cyr just looking on. Might have overused up his equipment, might have overused up his strategy, desperately trying to cling to whatever life he had left. He's dialing everything he can into this last run, this last high-stake performance. But I hate to say it, I just don't think he's got anything left for Joshua. But I ask this too, race fans. Did Joshua, in that first half and then in a bit of the second half when he was battling with Andrew, did he play possum? Or was he trying to see what he could do if he made Andrew sweat a little bit? What was his call? What was the strategy move he made? Whatever it may have been, I think honestly it may have been a mind game that he threw on Andrew, and when the timing is right, he used lap traffic, he used the draft, and he used everything to force Andrew to get out of his own lane, get out of his run, and catch him off guard. One thing I will say though right now, do not count that 13 driver out. Kevin Thompson is flying. Thompson's got something here. And he's coming up quick here on Jones. You can see right there, there's the sea of red there that Hilton couldn't get on Thompson. But look at Thompson. Look at the green. He's got over tenths of a second. He's gaining every single lap around here and putting this thing right into good use. If I'm Jones right now, oh, I might be a little bit scared. That's another tenth there. I don't know where Thompson finds it, man. This guy he's got something. He's got a good head on his shoulders. I'll give him that. But this guy right here, man, he just absolutely does not know when to quit. I don't think he even knows the word. He's as stubborn as a mule down there. When he wants to get going, he'll fight. Though I will say this, if a caution does come out and you see Andrew and Joshua go into pit road to get tires and Kevin stays out, could that play a difference maker? Again, I don't know if it even is possible, but again, or even this, if Kevin actually, don't think about it, if Kevin actually can get ahead here of Andrew and then get to Joshua, does he play a little bit of teammate battling off Joshua? We've seen teammates do this before. Joshua may have been relying as well a little bit on some help down there. Is it maybe time for a little payback? That beast mode number 13 is certainly one to watch out for. But again, Andrew, he's coming up. He's trying to get as quick as he can back to Josh, as Kevin is doing everything he can to get to this guy right here in the 29. Jones knows he could be in trouble if Thompson gets a little bit more speed on him. There's enough laps and enough time to catch him. He's got to stay focused here. Can't let that intertwining thought on his end here get in the way. Sean Thompson says, good luck, Kevin, here. Just rooting on his boy down there, trying to give him some little bit of encouragement. Jones again, only about 4.3 seconds back. Thompson coming up quick. And he's coming up quick on your race leader of Joshua Ballier. Joshua right now doing everything he possibly can and then some to hold on. He's led, ironically, 18 laps with 18 to go. Now turn 19 this time by. trying to hope for a break or trying to hope for the best here, and knows that things are not playing all too well in his favor. Only for that battle for him in second is pretty much out of the picture. Andrew nowhere near him. But again, I honestly ask, well, Thompson, does he try to play a different strategy card here, or did he try to hunt down Jarrett Jones? If I'm Josh right now, I'd be a little bit worried knowing there's a teammate driver or the guy that you're trying to keep behind you coming up quick here. You cannot trust anybody on the track, especially when you know there's teammates that can work together. You got to remain focused, remain subtle, keep things in your own lane. Kevin doing everything he possibly can to get around to that 18. He needs to try and make a move off as well. Hope for a break, hope for an opening. Scratching and clawing at the doorsteps here, but again, he's lost speed and he's lost time. Jarrett only about 3.8 seconds back here of Kevin. Jarrett-wise, honestly, I'm kind of looking at things too right now. Again, he went on pit road on lap 103. Thompson on 109. So he's coming up for him. He's got speed there, but again, I just don't think he's got enough time now, unless things kind of change here. And Jones probably at this point got to be breathing a sigh of relief, just knowing he's kind of out of the woods on this one. Doesn't have to worry too much about things down there. Get a little look at the blip cam right now. That's the gap between, well, ironically, first and fourth. You're probably wondering, how in the Hades can that be possible? You got to remember, Thompson's a lap down. Just a straight up whooping that Andrew and Joshua put on everybody today. But when it all boiled down to it, a late strategy call and a big move from Joshua finally took center stage. And with 11 laps now left to go, things are kind of flying in his favor here. Not a whole lot of other predecessors really giving me much more to talk about, but so I guess I'll kind of throw this from the top 10 on up. You know, some hard runners though in the back half. Again, of course, Matt Rogers, Rockstar. He qualified 16th. He goes to 12th. Joshua McLuhan and Merlin A. Duran, all they had to do was just stay out of trouble. And they got 3 spots up for their troubles. Dead in the top 10 though, Aiden Garadato, in my opinion, probably the biggest surprise of the bunch here in terms of his strategy that he came up with. He made a crucial mistake going into pit road way too soon and probably was not expecting things to play out the way they did. And that, in my opinion, is going to hurt the points lead because, again, Forrest Hamilton Jr., I'll get to him in just a second, is quickly in the running and quickly in order to take a shot into his points lead. Adam Gardner, you saw a second ago, he went 6 spots up and absolutely tormented everybody down there with pure speed and control. But in some other areas of the night, that might have been good enough for a top 5, but this team, this group, just honestly, like Josh Fox, even they struggled to keep things well within their reach and well within their grasp. Watch that battle, though, for Gardner and Fox, because honestly, Fox might be able to lose up a little bit, and Gardner catched him here. But in my opinion, the biggest shocker was Forrest Hamilton Jr. Again, I honestly thought that his strategy had some merit, some work that could have played out in his favor. But again, that first pit stop, it all but cost him. He gets out of pit road, spun the tires, and all of a sudden damage on the left front, and it slowed him down tremendously. Now just hoping to get one last shot at Jeremiah Stutzman as he's coming up quickly on him. And Stutzman, again, pretty much hasn't really left the top 10 all day. He's qualified 8th. He got to 6th. Might fall back to 7th if he's not careful here with Hamilton. Keith Hilton, he goes in from 5th spot. Qualified 7th, gets in there a couple ends there. And then, of course, I've already talked a lot about Kevin Thompson and Jarrett Jones. But those are the only other two that basically did everything in their power and their run to keep things well within their own reach, their own check. They played a longer-term strategy. The same thing Forrest did. But, again, Forrest, with that mistake he made earlier, in my humble opinion, that's what cost him this race. And any chance to possibly put a little bit of sweat on Corin Ballier. Final 4 laps now left to go. Thompson not been getting any extra speed on Jones or any extra speed on Joshua. Not looking the best right now for anyone except those top 3 drivers, and Jones here probably at this point just trying to put it into cruise control as he continues to deal with traffic right in front of him. B-Mac down there saying, go Andrew, trying to root on his guy one last time. He's not out of it yet. He has a chance if something goes wrong on that 18, but he needs something big to help. And it looks like he might have slight damage on the right front fender there. That could be slowing him down. So, oh yeah, that's definitely damage there. Now, I wonder now, when he was battling with Josh earlier, did he by chance slam the wall on something? And did that or on somebody? And did that by chance cost him any chance or hope to get this one, I wonder? We says 21 with love there. Definitely a lot of love there for Aiden and his group and his gang today. He'll get himself a nice top 10 finish if things go the way they're supposed to, because now we're rolling up on the white flag lap. Green was up. Switch it out. White high in the sky. One more lap for Joshua Ballier to finish this one up. He planned the long term. He used the short term. He got a good mental strategy card inside that head. He played to his advantage. He played to his keen strategy. He threw Andrew off guard. And for the first time this season, we're going to see a 2-time winner in the season. Joshua Ballier is going to go to win here at Phoenix. What a race, and what a long distance shootout this one was for Joshua and his team. And pretty much everybody having to get in a pit road quickly. They were out of fuel. They ran this thing dry as can be. Joshua gets win number 2 in the season. Andrew getting second. Jarrett Jones barely, in my opinion, holding off those, trying to hunt him down for a lap down position. But let's take a look at our twin tier security solutions finishing positions. Link into the little barcode you see on screen to learn more all about them. And once again, Joshua Ballier finally getting win number 2. Found it and used it well. And in an ironic way, he did the same thing he did at Charlotte Motor Speedway here at Phoenix Raceway. And used it to a perfect run, a perfect advantage. What more can you say? Andrew St. Cyr, my word, this guy, he did not let up. He didn't give an inch. He knew his strategy. He knew the cards. He just did not play them right at the right time, and it cost him dearly. But still coming away today second. Jarrett Jones, the only other driver that finishes on the lead lap. And what a performance he did. Early out of the gate, he was swinging. He was going for the fences. He was going to try and pull a Mark McGuire down there and basically get that thing out of the bar park as soon as he could and make sure that he did not have to worry about anything else to do with running. Unfortunately, that did not go according to plan, but it was good enough to at least pull a third-place finish for him. 4th to Kevin Thompson. Man, honestly, Thompson, kind of the hero of this last bit of that race. He did everything correctly. He nailed the speed and nailed the run, and it just fell a little short, but a good showing there. Keith Helton strives to go 5th, nails down a great run there and a great performance, in my opinion. Nothing to be ashamed of there. Deservingly so. Take the bow, Mr. Keith. Jeremiah, the Flying Dutchman Stutzman. Oh, my word. He was a Dutchman tonight. He had a good look, a good run, a good strategy. It just wasn't fast enough, and it wasn't good enough in this case to outsmart some of those that were coming for him. And Forrest Hamilton Jr., in my opinion, kind of the biggest what if of this race. If he did not spin that car out and give all that time back that he was using against those drivers up ahead, what may have became of Forrest? He will dig into the lead of 8 in a little bit, but that's certainly not going to help him at all there. Adam Gardner, though, my opinion, proving to a lot of guys out there that this was not a fluke last week. He is definitely one to watch out for on a lot of tracks. A top 10 in this kind of circuit with these drivers, that's nothing to sneeze at. That's showing you something. And Aiden Garridano, again, he goes 9th this time. Holds off for a long charge and a long run. Quite a bit going down there for him. And Josh Fox rounding out our top 10. I mean, what more can I say about the Fox man himself? He definitely had a look and had a run and carries himself through to the very end. All right, race fans, it's now time to chat with the top 3 drivers here, and he joins me now in victory lane. Race fans, the driver of the 18, Joshua Ballet, joins me in. Joshua, congratulations getting it done here once again. Only the first driver to get 2 wins in a season. Josh, this has got to be very rewarding, all things considered.
It was also, I'm just like, it is rewarding, but it was a great race between me and St. Cor. That was like a lot of fun. It didn't matter if I lost or won that one. That was kind of a lot of fun, just being able to race like that. So that was quite an enjoyable race.
Yeah, I want to ask you about that too. You know, what late in the race, obviously, you finally get an opening, you finally get that chance, you work your way through lap traffic a bit, but the first go, it looked like he was sticking to his line. You were trying to move around quite a bit, and you weren't able to get around him then. What changed exactly and gave you that final leg to finally get around him there, especially on the last bit of that race?
Just a little bit of the fresh start. Once we got by 10 laps, I knew it was not going to be able to get a pass, so I'm just like really pushing the issue on that final pit because I knew that was the final pit, so I just drove like everything to get to his right rear and was able to finally get there for once and get the pass done. But that's pretty much all it was, is fresh tire confidence.
Well, that fresh tire confidence has landed you into victory lane today. Joshua, I got to ask you, who are we thanking for getting this thing into victory lane?
Myself and Adam for putting on the lead, and you for broadcasting.
All right, well, right on there, Joshua, man. This was a heck of a performance. Congratulations getting it done here at Phoenix.
Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, your only 2-time winner of the season so far, the driver of the 18, Joshua Ballet. Now we join here with the one that a lot of people are rooting on as well, but he ends up coming in second with a great last bit battle there. The driver of the number 12, Andrew St. Cor, has joined us here now in this one. Obviously, Andrew, I got to believe, got to sting a little bit, but I mean, all things considered, you got that win at Auto Club and kind of set the pace and tone to get into these next races. But when you came back and you went swinging from Talladega into Phoenix, did you have any idea or thought that you were going to end up having that last bit and that last little scruffle, if you will, with that 18?
Yeah, yeah, he was gonna be a tough all day. Like, honestly, I thought he was going to be the one I was going to have to battle this race to win, and that's exactly what happened. I mean, he's fast. He had some damage early. He was really impressive that he was able to overcome that. You know, his driving style, he tends to be able to drive off the right rear a lot and save the right front. And I think, you know, the fact that he had some right front or toe, I think he had toe, I'm not quite sure. And he might have just had side damage. I really don't know what he had for damage, but regardless, he was still saving more right front than I was. So good on him. And, you know, it did definitely burn a bit, like you said, like, you know, leading that sort of, you know, that long. But I mean, I look back and I reflect on my pit stops. Like, there was one pit stop, my first one, for example, I got on pit road, I got on good. And the next thing you know, for some reason, I started messing around with my brake bias on pit road as I was driving down. And at one point I was like 37 mile an hour in a 45. and then I was up to like 42, then back down to 40, then up to 40. Like I was all over the place. I lost probably 1 or 2 seconds pit road, just driving down pit road, and then my next pit stop, I tried to get off pit road in second gear, and it was just like, what are you doing? And then at the end, when he got by me, he got to my outside, so great move, trying to do that the whole race. And once he got to my outside, my quarter, I knew he had me. But then he kind of got out of 1.2 seconds, and then I started bringing it back a bit. I think we were down to like 0.7, 0.8, and I just got overzealous, and I just throttled up off two a little bit too soon, and got toe damage hitting the wall, and then that was it. So, but anyway, so you look back and you think of the unforced errors, kind of it's hard to be upset with anybody but yourself in those situations. Yeah, it was a really good run. Happy with second place. Shout out to Mal, great run. Shout out to Jarrett, first race in the league. He had a great run tonight, and shout out to the whole league for, green flag start to finish. That's really impressive, Phoenix.
Well, I'll ask you this too, Andrew. You said just a second ago you lost a lot of time there from pit stops and everything from, messing with the brake by style, but also trying to get the car kind of squared back up here. I mean, when he ended up catching you on that outside lane, though, and the fact that he was able to make up just that little bit of time back on you, do you think that had he not been able to find a way to get around that outside lane and take away that race line of yours that you've been doing so well, that was kind of the Achilles heel for this final leg there, you think?
100%. If he did not get to my outside, I'm confident, because he got to my inside numerous times, to the point where I think there was one particular time I remember that I was like, oh my God, he's going to clear me off too on the inside, because there was kind of a lap car that I kind of checked up a little bit more for, and he dove in on the low side, and I was able to keep my my front just on his quarter, and I was able to pinch him and just get a fantastic run off of two, and I cleared him, and I was like 1 or 2 tenths or 2 tenths going into turn three. That's how much more power and runoff you get if you can get to the outside off of two. That whoever's on the outside off of two, and then off of three, same thing. Like, you can't get under somebody if the guy on the outside enters three low. You're going to give them a lane, but if you start giving them, like, if you run high, for example, they're going to clear you. So you got to pinch them, stay low. And I did that for over 100 laps that he couldn't get by me, get under me. So absolutely, if he didn't get to my outside, I would have protected the outside, and I would have favored the outside the rest of the run, and he would not have, I would say he wouldn't have got by me, but like it would have been really hard for him to get by me. But what happened too was there was lots of, and everybody did a fantastic job kind of staying out of the way, knowing the situation, not really affecting him and I. But it's just nature of the beast when you're entering corners and there's somebody in front of you into turn one and you're trying to go in hard. You're not quite sure where they're going to go, and you're thinking, okay, if they go like bottom, low, or go high, I got to try to time this so I don't run over them. And then at the same time, kind of protect my line so Mal doesn't get by me. And it was good on everybody for keeping it clean, knowing the situation, but it was just, it's just what it is, right? So anyway, once again, he made a fantastic move to get to my outside. And once he got to that quarter, I knew I was done. So, yeah. I hope that answers your question. Long-winded.
Honestly, I don't mind long-winded answers if it kind of helps get the passion out of the driver. At the same time, kind of explains to the fans just how much it meant to you guys and how the battle was from there. And obviously, I know your mom Beth was watching along. Quite a few other folks were rooting you on, your team at Beast Mode. So, Andrew, who we thanking today for this one?
Yeah, I got to thank my team. Got to thank BMP, Adam, Kev. I think they're the only two that were tonight, and from the team. And thanks to Adam for, this is the league, I'd say, is rejuvenated this year a bit. And, I think definitely part of that is the broadcast. I mean, bring a lot of, I'd say, passion, intensity, excitement. Everybody, I loved watching, your last week replaying, trying to come up with a nickname for me and everybody else. And, it was pretty fun. And so good job. So thank you for the passion and the excitement of the broadcast, because that means a lot, I think, to people watching, and definitely for the drivers. And we're getting a little bit big, a more consistent field this season. You weren't here last year, but there was a little bit underwhelming at times with the amount of people that showed up. So it just feels better this year. It feels like the group is more committed, having more fun. We're getting nice green flag runs like this. So shout out to everybody and shout out to the fans that are watching as well. So.
Absolutely, Dave. Well, Andrew, man, it's been a pleasure to have you on board, and we'll get that nickname figured out eventually. But nevertheless, you take your bows and take a celebration with you and your team, my friend. You have earned this one for a second place tonight. Congratulations out there, buddy.
Right on. Have a good one.
You too. Ladies and gentlemen, we got up for your second place finisher, the right driver, number 12, Andrew Sankor. Well, there's one last driver to chat with us today, race fans. He comes to us in third place. He is the driver of the 29, Jared Jones, and his first trip to the podium and chatting with us here, Jarrett. Congratulations getting into third. And honestly, other than those other two front runners, you're the only driver that stayed on the lead lap. You played your cards right and played a different strategy card than I think a lot of others were kind of expecting of you and your team. You go on lap 103, it looks like, and it looks like that was kind of what helped did it in for you. Talk me through what your game plan was and how you were able to not only stay on the lead lap, but keep a good distance between you and Thompson there.
Yeah, honestly, the very first run we stayed out to lap 57, I think, around that, and that was just way too long. But I knew I wanted to have a little bit shorter run at the end, so I don't have a whole lot of experience in these next gen cars, so I was wanting to get as many laps as I can on that first run, so I could run it a little harder on the next two runs. And so I shortened it up again the second one. I think I did like 50, like 1 or 2 laps on the second run, and the third run we did like 43 laps. We're gonna know, maybe we did 45 laps, so maybe we didn't shorten it as much. But yeah, honestly, it was just learning all night. We going into that last stint, we found out shifting down to third was actually very helpful. We picked up a 10th on from our second run to our third run, a lap. So that was interesting to find that out. I had no idea it was gonna be that much faster.
Well, let me ask you this too, though, because there was something I even said in the broadcast that there was a lot of people that caught it late and they kind of figured it out late. But there was usually you had two drivers that would either go from maybe 5th to 4th, or maybe entering through the dog leg off turn 1, maybe go into 3rd at the worst. But it seemed like later in the run, obviously you started catching on to that strategy. You started using it down the turns. Like, what was it like having to kind of just all of a sudden figure out that you obviously could get more speed running it in 3rd gear, and why was it such a difference maker for you and your team?
Honestly, just when I was a little scared to go into 3rd because I didn't know how high the reps would be. But one time on the second run late in that one, I was like, okay, I'm going slow enough. Like if I'm gonna try it right, now's the time. And I found out what the gear was. It was like 132 miles an hour. Was like where it rev limits at. And when we did that, on the end of the second run, we probably picked up 2 tenths when we started doing that. And I was like, okay, well maybe they'll start doing that on the next run. And as soon as we did that, it was just way better for the whole run. But honestly, just downshifting just made the car rotate a little bit better. Wasn't on the right front as much. Wasn't pushing as much. So it was just it was interesting because like I said, I didn't know it was gonna be downshifting the 3rd right there. See, the winner Joshua, he was only going 4th to 5th, but I think Andrew said he was running 3rd, 4th, and 5th, just like me, at the end. So it was interesting how the strategies differed there, and like I said, I could not get that car to rotate on just 4th and 5th.
But it would work pretty well there going into 3rd, and ironically enough, it helps you get into 3rd place today. So, Jarrett, I got to ask you as we close this one out, my friend, who we thinking here to get you a podium in 3rd place today?
Honestly, just everyone at Magility Speed Shop and CFM Performance. Those guys just bring the speed every week for mainly dirt, but we're adventuring over at asphalt now, and honestly, it's nice to just have a community that just helps everyone get a little bit quicker every week. When you're struggling with something, they'll ask you what you're doing differently, and they'll watch your screen, and they can tell you, they can really give you a lot of insight on what you're doing wrong and what you need to be doing differently. So, just really those guys in that group, they've really helped me a lot.
For sure there. Well, nevertheless, Jarrett, obviously this is a very long road and a great hustle and a battle for you and your team today here. Congratulations again to 3rd, and hopefully we won't be a stranger and come visit us back up in 3rd place today or even higher soon enough, my friend.
Yeah, thank you. I'm glad I was here.
For sure there. All right, race fans, your third place finisher tonight, driver of the 29, Jarrett Jones. Well, that all but does it. And we're out of here for the night here. It was an interesting one here in Avondale. Next time out, we're going to Dover. So what happens when you put them back on another mile-long track? But this time, it's as clear of an oval as it is high in the banks. Let's see what Monster of the Mile has in store for them. But nevertheless, we are leaving you here at Avondale. Thank you so much for being supportive. And thank you to all the fans out there. You guys were great. We loved it. We love you. And I hope you can take care of everything here. It's nevertheless been a wonderful time to be with you guys here. Take care of yourselves out there. And until the green flag flies next time on Speed Zone TV, be safe. God bless. Take care. Have a good night, everybody.